Cottman, Crawford, and the Jersey Guy podcast.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kenny Cottman.
I'm Lewis Crawford.
And I'm Tom Ramage, the Jersey Guy.
Cool beans. How's everybody doing this evening?
I'm good.
Yes.
Doing great. It's Friday.
Friday, looking forward to the second podcast.
Yes. Podcast number 2.
And we're gonna do a topic on our second one. So
Topic
we're
today,
not
so
just
we're coming back
shooting
to
from the hip.
A little more organized.
A little bit more organized. We're trying.
Yeah.
We're
Right.
trying. We got one feedback and
We got a couple of feedbacks,
a couple
actually.
of so we'll try and read them later on toward the end and thank everybody for that one.
And still feed us back, no matter what.
Yes, no matter what, always give us something. Lou, you had a little bit of a
Yeah, before we get started on the topic, and the topic for today is going to be adoption, but before we get on that, in 4 days is Election Day. It's the midterms. It's important that everybody goes out and votes, everybody. It's, especially now, the way things are in the world, and things are don't sit on the fence. Don't think that nothing's going to happen or it's not going to help. Go out and vote. Just do your civic duty. It's your right. That's what this country is about, and that's the reason why we do what we do in this country. So that's really all I have to say. So let's do that. This coming Tuesday, 4 days, and everybody vote. Otherwise, I'm good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree. Important. We got to get out there and vote because shit is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
now.
right.
It's
So let's.
super crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yep. So everything else is good. How's your day? How was your week?
it was good. I work with, Tom and I worked together today and yesterday. We did a couple of things, got a door built. We did some, that's what we do all the time. That's what we do. We're always working with our hands. So, but otherwise, I'm glad it's Friday. I was looking forward to doing the second one. I was kind of itching for it. I kind of felt like 2 weeks was too long. I'm like, I think we need to do it in a week.
Yeah. I think so too. Yeah.
Right?
You said that first, right, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
So even if and I think we could if we do it a couple more times in the 2 week, I think we can work that in there. But otherwise, why don't we get on the topic? Right? You want to start now? You want to get on the topic?
Well, we'll see if Tom had anything he wanted.
Tom, anything you want to add? I'm sorry.
Quick. See how his day
good.
went, how his week has been.
No, like I said, I was working with Lou today. We were. It was a fun day. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, good.
We definitely busted our asses.
Good. Yeah, I think we all
Absolutely.
worked today. It was that Friday fun day.
Yeah.
So,
And traffic was good today. I got home at a decent time.
Yeah.
Not like yesterday, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be another topic.
Yeah, yes,
Drivers.
absolutely. So anyway,
Yep.
the first topic is going to be on adoption.
Yep.
And I'm very familiar with this topic because I was adopted, and so was my younger brother. And I know, Kenny, you adopted your daughter.
Yes, sir.
When you married your wife, you adopted her. So
Yep.
I think this is a good topic because for me, when I was adopted, so I'll start this off. When I was adopted, adoption then was so much different than it is now. Adoptions are way open now. You can have relationships with the family and the new parents. You can send pictures. They can call you. They still have a relationship with the kid, even though they may not be technically the kid's parents anymore in their lives, but they are in some way. With me, it wasn't like that. And my brother, I had to look for my parents. As I started to get more curious about it, because my parents were always good about letting my brother and I know. They always talked about it. They never hid it from us. They always told us, hey, if you get curious and you want to know things about your parents, we'll help you. We'll look for them with you. And they did. And that was the great thing. They didn't do it with some families. They don't say anything. That's horrible. That's a horrible thing to do to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, you mean you're not my parents? So that's a whole other subject. We could do part 2 on adoption.
Yeah, seriously.
But for me, it was interesting. I think what I'm trying to say as far as adoption is concerned, no matter what family you're in, adopted or natural,
right?
Natural parents, people need to realize, as good as it is, you're still going to get baggage. You know what I mean? At the age I'm at now and the things I went through the years with my parents and looking for my natural parents, you still had the normal, the baggage that comes with that family that you're being adopted into, you know? So it's not going to always be perfect in that picture perfect movie setting, and the birds flying and chirping. It doesn't work like that. But the one thing I have to say was the hard thing for my brother and I was we didn't really know. We were brought up Jewish. We were both circumcised. We would bar mitzvah, the whole thing. You
And
know,
you
I had to
the
bring it up
circumcision.
because
circumcision. Yeah,
there was
I'm
some oil
circumcised.
involved.
You had to bring up the dick thing.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, right. Always talking about these things, Lou. You're making me nervous about that shit, bro.
You know, I have to throw it in there every once in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just lost 2 inches. I don't know.
But when growing up and you were brought up Jewish, went to Hebrew school, learned how to speak Hebrew. Of course, I barely remember it. I only remember whatever it was that certain parts and pieces and things that I grew up that my parents said or my aunts and uncles and things like that. But later on, I started thinking, what's my lineage? What's my bloodline? Where am I coming from? Not that I didn't want my parents anymore. All right, good, bad, or indifferent. That wasn't my thought process. My thought process was like, I'd like to know where my natural parents came from. You know, where were they from? What were they like? What did they look like? You know, eventually, at some point, I did find my natural mother, and right here in Mohegan Lake. It was a weird thing. I went to Dobbs Ferry Hospital where I was actually born, and I found they had the old file cards that they have in the with the drawers, the big old.
Well, you're old enough for it to be like on a chalkboard, no?
No, not that old.
Okay.
No, not that old. But I'm close though.
Yeah, close.
And we're still writing things on cards. So file cards. And when I went to the hospital, they still had an old part or a wing of the hospital I was born in. And I was able to get a card. And when I went up to my mom's house in upstate New York, at that time computers were starting to get big and you can go online. And I had my daughter punch in the name. I won't say the name, but my daughter punched in the name, and one came up in Mohegan Lake. And I was married to my second wife at the time. And when we decided to call, she made the phone call for me. And then we wound up meeting them. We went out that way to meet them. It was really interesting. It was exciting. It was great because you got information that it was like a piece that was missing.
Right.
You found it. And it was to get that information was back. So for me, that was interesting. So once I did that, then everything else kind of just went. You had 23andMe later on came out loud, and then you figured out. So I never met my dad, but I did meet my mom. I had like 5 brothers and sisters from my mom's marriage.
Right.
Half brothers and sisters, I should say. But I didn't know really much about my dad. And then when I got 23andMe, there was some information, but he had already passed already. So the great thing is that with 23andMe, they do the DNA, so you find out where you're from. There's so much in there, mutt across the board, all European, Italian, Irish, English, North African. I mean, everything that you can imagine, which is what we are. We're mutts,
Right.
That's, which is great. So for me, that was interesting. So I know for you, it was a little bit, it's different. You go ahead and tell you.
Well, so my daughter is from my first wife. Was my first wife's relationship she had before. Yeah. So that then when my daughter was born, probably she was about 3 or so, and I asked if I could adopt her. We were talking, and I adopted her, and it was one of the greatest things I've ever done. Like, my daughter, that's my honey, kidding, so, it's awesome. And it's cool because when you see the love that you get back, it's funny to sound like, the love you get back, the love you're giving. And there is nobody else, I'm saying? Like, there is nothing else. It's just, that's my little girl. She's 27, and it's like, that's my little girl. Yeah. Like, that's just what it is, and I love her all day. There's nothing, I would change.
And you treat her, and you're not looking at her as your adopted daughter.
No, she's my daughter. Yeah.
Right.
There is nothing else. Like, she's my daughter. Like, that's just what it is,
Right. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's how I feel about it with my parents. People say, well, did you find, your real parents? No, my parents are my parents. I grew up with them all my life. They brought me up, like, again, good, bad, or indifferent. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This was my life.
Yeah, find people's verbiage weird. Like, your real parents. No, you could say my biological
that's
parents.
What it is, yes.
Real parents. Like, what the fuck?
Right. Now, that's what my daughter does. My daughter says, yes, my biological but she knows. She's like, you're dad. You're my father. You raised me. That's all that there is to it. So, and I think that's that's the gift for me, to know that that's how she feels. That's how she sees it and whatnot. And, like I said, that it's the coolest thing. So I'm happy for you, part of the fact that you were adopted and, you got that love and that family structure that, made you the crazy guy that, is one of my best friends right now,
Absolutely. Totally agree with you. Yeah. And what I love, the fact is that you have the same mindset, and your thought process is the fact that this is my daughter. Mm-hmm. I love her. It is special when it is adoption, but you're not thinking that way. You're thinking, I have this great relationship with this young little lady. Mm-hmm. She grew up. You were there. And I see how much she loves you when she's around. It's great. So that whole thing I was saying earlier, like Tom was saying, the verbiage, sometimes people just don't get it. They don't understand because they are, some people do, some people don't. But it doesn't bother me now. You got to just correct them and just explain, hey, those are my parents. Like my brother Michael. He's not my brother from the same parents. He was adopted from a different family.
Oh, I thought he was from the...
No, but he's my brother.
Right.
So, still my brother. Now, I know him all my life since he was an infant, 2 days old. We were both adopted at just a few days old. We weren't. We were just infants. So it wasn't like we were
adopted at the same time. So like
no,
twins,
my brother
or no.
My brother was 2 years younger than I am, so he was later on. Yeah, he was later on.
And it's funny too because my daughter, she's the oldest. Then I have two boys, and my sons. So one of my sons was raised with her. The other one was raised in Florida, and that's their sister. And then now I remarried, and now I have my youngest, and she's, it's like they're all brother and sister. You know what I mean? There is no, oh my God, that's my stepbrother, that's my half brother, that's my adopted. There's none of that. It's just straight my sisters, my brothers, and that's all there is to it, which is awesome, man, for me, especially because, it's to have that love, with the siblings and whatnot is freaking amazing, and there's not even a thought like that. We had a conversation one time, the kids and I, and like, why would I call you my stepsister? Yeah. Why? Or you're just my sister. I don't need to say step or adopted or whatever. Like, you're my sister. You're my brothers. Like, that's all there is. And they were like, yeah. I thought they were going to start, like, making, going outside and start trimming and stuff, Yeah. But, and that's awesome, I'm glad that I showed them enough love for people, for each other, that they can do that that's their thought process, that's where they're at, that they're going to judge people for who they are, that they're going to take care of their siblings, and all that other good stuff. It's just great. It's cool as hell.
Right. I agree with you. And because you guys brought them up the right way, and the thought process that they have is that doesn't come into their mind. They just think, this is my brother. This is my sister. That's my mom. That's my dad. There is no...
Well, they were afraid of the beating, too, because they knew, like, it got a little bit crazy. I'm going to choke the shit out of them.
Right.
And, but it's all good. Now, with your mom's other kids, do you have any kind of relationship with them?
No, but it's funny you should bring that up because I do have the 23andMe. So I have... You have genetic... siblings. I forgot the correct terminology. So when you look, you have 23andMe. So when you look, I don't know if you have that yet. If you ever done that or not.
I have Ancestry.
You have Ancestry. So it's a little bit different. It's kind of the same.
Similar. They have they show you people like. It's weird. My aunt came up because there's like a database, and my aunt came up as like my first cousin, which is kind of weird because I guess genetically it could look like an aunt could look like a first cousin. I don't know how that works.
Right.
Yeah, I got jokes for that too, but I gotta.
Oh yeah, my aunt is my first cousin. Hey, Mom and Uncle Dad, holler.
So one of my brothers showed up on my mom's son.
Right.
My natural mother's son showed up, and I thought it was probably from my dad's side because I was trying to find from my dad's side to see if I had any siblings from that side.
Got it.
But I have a little bit more difficulty with that. I'm not getting a lot of information. But that being said, he says, no, it's, he mentioned his name and he said, how are you doing? I said, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. And we kind of just talked a little bit, chatted because you can chat through the 23andMe.
Right.
We did that. And I said, I hope you guys are good. I hope everything's fine, and kind of just went on our way, and that was it. I think for me, you do get a fantasy in your head, especially when you're young. That my kids were funny because I would have them on the weekends. I was a part-time dad, so I would pick them up. Dad, wouldn't it be great, like if you found your parents and they was like super rich, or they were like a movie star or something crazy, and they would always crack me up. I'm like, yeah, well, the odds on that happening really aren't good, but it's good to think that way. But when I did. The excitement was amazing because it was like, wow, here's a piece, like I said earlier. I got it, filled it in, got the information, and it was like a weight lifted off. But it didn't change how I felt about my parents. Mm-hmm. It didn't want me to, okay, I found my mom now. I don't want to be with you guys anymore kind of thing. Right. Which I'll make a quick story in reference to my natural mom, unfortunately. As we were starting to get our relationship going, I was talking to one of my sisters, because I had 3 brothers, 2 sisters, I believe, if I'm correct. Mm-hmm. When I found my mom, her children, my mom started to go down the road that I was hoping I was hoping we could get the best of both worlds. Right. She had her family, I had my family, and then we had each other, and then we had that, we can make this new thing for each other. Mm-hmm. But then she started going down that road where that's not your family. I'm your mom. You're not Jewish, the whole thing. And I'm like, okay, why are you going down this way? This is, you expect me after 30, I think it was like in my early 30s, to like, okay, well, thanks for everything. Thanks for bringing me up and, putting up with all my bullshit and everything. Bye. See you later. Have a nice life. No, I can't do that. Yeah, no way. I can't do that. Right, we could have did the board. But so it was interesting. And then I started looking for my dad. So I don't, now I know as far as lineage and where I came from and what part of Europe and all that stuff. That stuff is interesting. So for me, it was a good thing. And my brother Michael, he struggles with it a little bit more. My brother.
Yeah, I got an interesting take on that too.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
My wife's father, my father-in-law, was adopted. But I don't know why there's like some kind of shame in it, because like you can't bring it up in front of him. He's really sensitive about it. So he doesn't tell anybody. Like it's really he gets like, if I've never mentioned it in front of him, but my wife Tara, she goes, don't ever bring it up in front of him, because every time we go to my wife goes to a doctor's visit, it's like family history. She's like, I don't know much because my father's adopted. He has rheumatoid arthritis, but that's all I know. Nothing else beyond that.
Right, yeah. And that's hard because crazy. I go through the same thing with the doctors.
Oh yeah,
and
you could get medical history.
It's hard.
Yeah, sure. It's too bad you didn't ask. I guess that's not the thing. When you meet your biological parents, you're like, can I have your medical history, by the way? Yeah.
Yeah. How crazy are you?
Yeah. Are we gonna wind up in the booby hatch at some point?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But hello.
Yeah, I'd be like, I like boobies.
But I'm curious now that you bring that up. I'm curious about that because I'm thinking, what kind of shame was it? Did he not find out till later on? And then it was like, that's what I was trying to say earlier, because sometimes they don't tell the kids or they find out by accident through somebody else. That happened to
that's really weird.
A friend of mine.
That puts a kid or an adult
it
at
fucks
a
you
really
up.
Uncomfortable situation. It's like you're living your life a lie.
Right.
But at least if you tell them, hey, when they're growing up, you explain. I don't know what age you would do it. Maybe like 6, 7, maybe.
Well, that's what we did with my daughter. My daughter knew pretty much right off the bat. You know what I mean? Like, we waited till she was about. Now I'm lying. We waited till she was about 10.
Until you could
12, like
absorb
right
a normal conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you tell like a 3-year-old that they have no idea what you're talking about. Oh yes, adopted. Yes, like they wouldn't know what you're talking about.
I don't even think she was that old. Like we told her when she was super young because we still knew and saw where her biological dad was. But he wasn't around like that.
Right.
So that then. Which is what led me to adopt her,
Because it's kind of abstract to be like your mom and your mother and father, but we're your parents. So unless you have to be at a certain age, I think, to understand. Well, it's very abstract at that age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. My parents just said they always told us when we were young, but of course, when I was younger and you're that little, you don't really remember any of that.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
But they talked about it in front of us. They didn't hide it. It was a conversation. My whole family knew it. They all, talked about it too. If I brought it up, they were glad to speak about it and give you whatever information. And I think that's the best way to do it. And that's kind of like why I like the way adoptions are now in a lot of ways, where the parents are able to be in the room or share information and send each other pictures and everything, because it still answers a lot of questions. Because when that baby gets bigger and older, they're going to want to know stuff. And by doing what they're doing right from the get-go, I think is a good thing.
Well, don't forget, though, too, back in the day, it was almost like not almost, it was a sacrilege to have a kid out of wedlock. Right. And, exactly. They were taking the mom and sending her away for 6 months because she went to quote-unquote college or whatever it was. And then the baby's left on the doorstep of some orphanage and, all that other kind of crazy stuff. So then there was no... there was nothing written down or knowing who the mom or the parents were or whatever.
Oh, everything was sealed.
Everything. Well, no, not even. You just didn't. There was nobody there, so there was no sealed because you didn't even know. So like I said, so if
you can still do that. You
can still drop
legally because they don't want anybody because people fucking put babies in dumpsters.
Right.
But like legally, you can drop off at any fire
department, exactly, or the hospital
or church, I believe too.
Yeah, right? Church. Well, I don't even know. I mean, but I'm sure churches too. But you can drop a kid, like you said, Tom, anywhere. Well, not anywhere, but and any
fire
spot like that, fire
hospital.
department, stuff like that.
As long as they're not dropping them at the pound.
Yeah, right. Well, listen, I had jokes, but see, I'm trying to be good, bro. I didn't even go to pound jokes.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, how long did it take before they picked you out the litter? But whatever.
Hey, listen, man.
But it's just it said back. So back in the day, you didn't know who the mom was. There was no record keeping.
Exactly.
Well, you couldn't keep a record because mom dropped you off at the doorstep, rang the doorbell, and ran. You know what I'm saying? There was, or the parents.
If that's the way it happened,
right? I'm just saying like that was not in all cases, but like you're looking at the 50s and 60s, and maybe and earlier that's what it was.
Well, and so, closed adoption. When I was born, the way I was told is that as soon as you was born, the baby's taken. The mother can't hold the baby. Boom, they gone. That's it. You're out.
Yep.
And then everything is closed. And then the birth certificates. That was the weird thing because of the way. And then they had to get you a birth certificate. It was just weird how the original one was. Back then, the Xerox copies were actually black with white lettering.
Yes, that's how mine was.
Really?
Yeah. Mine was like that. Yeah.
So
it's a lot of ink.
But everything was hush hush, quiet, But now it's not like that, and I think I kind of like that, I think that's a good idea.
You know what? I always had a question. Maybe Well, you'll know the answer. Is it? I'm talking to Kenny because I'm looking at hands like people can see. People listening can see what I'm talking.
Yes, Tom.
Yes, Tom. No, but like, is that a myth that it's unaffordable to adopt? Everybody says, "Oh, I wish I could adopt," but it's like unaffordable and this and that.
No. It's not. It's
well, in your case, you didn't really have to pay a lot.
I didn't go to the like the adoption agency.
Oh, no.
Right, so that then you have to pay for the legal fees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what.
And it just so happened that my ex-wife worked for a lawyer's office. So we didn't have to pay all that much. But I mean.
But
now we're talking, 25 years ago that, and it was, if I tell you that it was maybe $250,
But it's not like you want to adopt. If you want an adoption agency,
then they'll they start charging you expensive. because they're charging you for services.
Absolutely.
See, that's the thing. I wish it was more affordable because I think there's a lot of people who can't have kids. And there's some people who, feel like it's a better option to, adopt instead of have a biological kid because of overpopulation and stuff like that.
It's not that it's unaffordable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can go and you can adopt a kid. You don't have to pay because you're paying the legal fee.
Because you could have 12 kids.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
popping out kids, but you can't adopt a child.
Well, here's a good example, real quick. My daughter has several children. I won't go into details, but one of her children was up for adoption. These foster parents got him, and he's living out in, I believe it's Indiana. And they have several adopted children, but the way they did it was I think they have one or two of their own, and then they have other children from different places in the States and also in the world. They have a couple of children from China, special needs. They got I think they got 10 or 11 children.
Right.
They got a big bus.
All adopted?
Yeah, all adopted.
Wow,
that's
amazing.
Right. So they they have a big bus and they travel a lot and everything. And he's a good looking kid. He sends us letters once in a while, you know, when he calls. And they're great people. They're religious, but they were. It was almost like they were meant to do what they're doing. They're
right,
like,
got you.
The way they're helping these kids for special needs and doing what they're doing. That was just like they're almost like a miracle in the sense to help these kids.
Right.
That's the way people kind of should be. They're not looking at them because of their need. They want to help them. They want to give them a place where they can feel loved, regardless of what their handicaps or what's going on or what may have happened previously in their life, whether there was abuse or anything like that. But that's a different way that people adopt too. They'll just get special needs and they'll help them that way. And then you get people. Now the other thing too is that you're seeing how expensive it is. Well, I know the one thing, the hard thing to get is a white baby. That's probably the most expensive and the most hardest to get.
Really?
Isn't that
Yes.
fucked up? That's like so racist. It's like,
if it's
you
still
want
like
a
that,
white
I could totally be
baby?
wrong on this. So anybody who's listening to this
I've heard
podcast,
that.
please let me know if I'm off base on this because I don't mind being corrected.
Maybe it's just a myth.
Right.
But I remember
but I believe
hearing
that's
that
what I've
before.
always
You've heard that before?
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
Yes.
But I don't
heard
know
that
if it's just like a myth.
No, I don't think it's a myth. I think it's true. You know, I could probably look it up right now on the computer and
Yeah,
see.
you're sitting right there.
But yeah, I think that's the case. You know, you can get other babies of different nationalities and whatever a little bit easier than you would to be able to get a white baby.
Never heard that before.
Yes. So, but that's just the way the world is. That's unfortunate. That's the way things are right now. You know,
some shit I've never heard that before, bro. That's news to me. Never.
Yeah.
But then I never paid any attention. You know.
well, because.
Well, yeah, like I said, because I mean, you know, I don't know, that is kind of annoying actually. that would be a fact, you know what I'm saying? Or even that it's a rumor. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any damn sense.
Yeah, if it's not real, that's even more fucked up. That it's,
Yeah,
that
it
it's-
is.
it-
Yeah.
It would actually be more. Well, I mean, it's more fucked up in a different. No, I wouldn't say more, just in a different way. It's fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That if it wasn't true, that's just like an urban legend.
That's craziness.
Because who made that up? Then?
Yeah. Oh, somebody who thought that white kids were more valuable than anything else. That's craziness. Wow.
Right.
It's like such a bad example, but like in the movie Hostel, like it was more expensive to kill a white person.
Yeah. Like
Then
what?
then it was like the cheapest was like like the northeastern Europeans that lived
I
in
forgot about that. Yeah.
Bratislava. That's what
Dude, that's crazy as shit, man.
like a local was like it's cheap.
Yeah, like
You
whatever.
kill local cheap,
Yeah,
but like
take 'em,
if you
it's
want
all
like
good.
an American white person, like it was like
Yeah.
Here we go.
Go ahead.
Adopting a baby is harder than ever. The Atlantic. So there's something on here about it.
What's it from?
New question, haunting adoption. A shortage of adoptable babies may seem like a problem, but adoption is meant to be meant to provide babies for families or families for babies. Let's see. Well, you guys keep on going, and I'll see. I don't want to read the whole paragraph.
Well, no.
We got
But
a podcast to do here. So
just let us know what you're getting it from.
yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
you know.
Well, no, I'm looking. It's the
what's the
Atlantic that I'm getting from.
Oh, the Atlantic. Okay,
Yeah.
got you.
Okay.
And I'm on it right now, so I'm looking.
yeah.
And as you guys continue your
Having
conversation,
a conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about horror movies. We're talking about
Wow.
Hostel.
we went from adoption to horror movies.
Adoption to horror movies.
I don't know. Is that
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
that a
see?
good transition?
Well,
I don't know.
I know it's a
because-
horrible transition,
Well,
but
yeah,
that, you know,
because they got the other.
Well, some adoptions could probably, and that's what I was saying earlier. Funny that you bring it up.
oh,
Some adoptions can
human
be
trafficking.
a horror story in the
Right.
sense of the type of family. Same with foster parenting.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine. She's a foster parent. Both her and her husband. They have, I think, 1 and 2 of their own children, but they have special needs children who who had handicaps. Their parents were drug addicts, things like that. And they've had.
No, but
I can't
you know
remember
what?
how they have, but they came from horror story families, and they fostered them, and then they adopted
Well,
them.
you know what?
And it's fantastic what they've done with them. These
Yeah.
kids love them, and it's
Yeah.
just amazing to see how they are with them. It's just really nice. You know, Tanya's friend.
Yes.
We went to the house. We
Oh,
played
that's right.
pickleball
Yeah.
there. So all those.
Yeah.
Most of those
got you.
kids are from foster parenting.
They're cool people too. Man.
Yeah, they are really cool. So
You know what though? I wouldn't be surprised though if like some adoption agencies are through with like human trafficking for like they want like a specific type of baby and they like, I wouldn't be surprised. It's just
Yeah, listen, we've heard of worse things, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's just crazy out there, you know. And I'm gonna say this out loud. there are people who would rather go and get babies from overseas because they feel that the babies that are here in the States have baggage or too much baggage.
Yeah.
So they'd rather go and get them over there. So, here, of any race, creed, and religion here in the States, you're looking at, drug babies or crack babies.
Right.
You're looking at just kids that are born with some kind of disability and such. So,
like
it's
Angelina
just,
Jolie adopted babies from like Africa and
now,
China.
I think that's, right. And I think that's bullshit because she's over there and she's buying the kids, bro. Because she's over there, I'll build you a new school and, give me 5 of your kids. Like, are you fucking serious right now? You little hooker?
Well, I mean, I think what she did is a good thing. But here's something that we're talking about right now. So it says plenty of children who aren't babies need families, of course. More than 100,000 children are available for adoption from foster care.
Right.
But adoptive parents tend to prefer a child who are what some adoptions world call AAP, as young as possible.
Right.
When I recently searched adopted U.S. kids, the nationwide government-funded website for foster care adopts only about 40 kids under age 5 out of the 4,000 registered appeared in my search. So it's amazing how, what about the ones who are older? People always looking for that younger baby. And this is good that we're having this conversation. That's the other bad part of it because people want that younger baby. But there are people like my grandson's parents who that's not if it's an infant, we'll take them. Or if the baby
she's older,
older,
right.
Whether they're in their, before their teens, or,
right.
We'll take them.
We'll take them.
And it doesn't matter if they have a handicap or anything. Those are the people who really should be celebrated because in their mind they're not. It's not about I don't want the little baby and I want to have everything.
Right.
They care about
a human life and they want to give them the best life they possibly have, and that's a fantastic thing. I think. Yeah, absolutely.
I tell you what, I wouldn't change not a thing in the world. I'm so proud of my daughter and all the things that she does and how she's doing. Military girl. She's doing her own thing. She's amazing. She's amazing. So that then, I wouldn't change any of that for the world. All my kids, I think I'm proud of all of them. You know what I'm saying? And the things that they do and that, even for me, I feel like she is in a lot of ways the trendsetter, I guess we'll say, for the rest of the kids. Like she's already set that. She's put the bar here, nice and high. So now the other kids are like, they look up to her. And, she gives them the good advice. And she looks out for them. And, what I'm saying? Like, I'm just so proud of her. I don't want to steer up. But, yeah, I'm just so proud of her, bro.
And she's in the military, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She does
rocks.
all. She's a freaking amazing, bro. She's just... Yeah, she's awesome. Like I said, she's just great. And I said, all my kids, thank God, bro. Knock on wood, that... She's just awesome, and that all my kids are great. They all doing good. Right. Thank God, because I was scared for a minute. Because, not that they did anything bad. I just worried about that they were gonna do things that I did when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
I know. Like that thing you always think about as a parent. I don't do what I do.
Yeah, right. Lord Jesus, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put my mama through that stuff.
Oh Lord, if you are really real, please, Christ's sake. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant. Lord.
I got a funny story too. Like I'm gonna be afraid when my kid has to drive because we were up. I think like we were driving like Suffolk, New York, or something like that. Not far over the border in New Jersey, and like there's an area with like a dip where like it's like a valley like that goes up.
Right.
And like my friend's like, got it, and I my car went airborne.
Going the other way, yeah.
You heard the engine go.
Now, was this teens or early 20s?
Like 18.
Okay.
So like 18 or 19. Like and then like there's a stop sign like right after I stopped and my car like stalled. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I started right back up.
Yeah, see.
It's like, but I know like if I like think about that kind of stuff, like what my kid is gonna do, I'm like,
yeah, but that's normal.
Yeah.
You know you're gonna.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you don't want them doing what you did or whatever. But it's funny how we say we won't want to do some of the things our parents did.
Right.
Right? I'm not going to do that. My parents, I'm going to do it different. Meanwhile, your kid does something, and first thing that you're reacting the same way your parents said, get your ass in the house.
Yeah.
Or we're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
All right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nope, that's it. Conversation's over. Like, I remember just looking at my daughter. I was just talking to Tanya about this. I would turn around. I said, all I had to do was look at her.
Yeah.
Like, what did you say?
Yeah.
She would just start bawling.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like she just right away would start bawling, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's funny how we wind up doing some of those things. There are a lot of things that we do. I know there's some things that I didn't do that my parents did.
Okay.
But there are some things that I still, you and I talk about this, Tom, I'm sure you talk about this, we talk about this as well, is that we still see that similarity. Yeah. Even though it's a different generation,
right?
We wind up still doing some of the same things, you know, like like how you and I kid around. We go, if you got a problem, first of all, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yeah.
So what I need you to do right now is to call up child services
yeah.
right now while we're on the phone.
I'm gonna beat your ass. You better call them.
So
right
you might as well
now.
do it now because you're gonna need them here in a little bit. You know, what I mean, that's the kind of
After you're done calling them, I'm gonna beat you with the phone
again.
After
I got done beating with you the first
then
time.
I'm gonna take
but
a
of
break.
course, we never do that.
Yeah, no. Then when they get here, I'm gonna beat you again in front of them. So there's a real reason. Yeah.
But of course, that never happened. But it was just the wait because I think I was more scared of my mother than I was my father. My mother was the one that would crack me in the face. My father never really ever put his hands on me.
I used to get beat, man. My mom was like the typical Italian mother. She like had the wooden stick and I get my ass beat with the wooden stick. My dad though had this idea. He got a 5-gallon paint mixer, and you know the not the like.
Can we talk about
stick.
this on the podcast?
Okay, yeah, right.
Mixing sticks. You know the mixing sticks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
And he wrote on it 4 bad boys. And we used to have this giant ass microwave. We used to store it under the microwave. And like
that's kind of scary shit, man.
Me and my brother used to get our ass beat with it. And like they would like we knew when they took it out, we'd run up the stairs.
That's crazy.
And this is how they taunted us with it. As my father was coming up the stairs with it. He'd hit each stair with it as he's going up the stairs.
That was like the snap of the belt. They never used the belt, but they would snap.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like you'd hear the stick go boom, 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 boom as they're going up this.
And your ass is running into bed under the covers.
Dude, man. Yeah, that's freaking hilarious. Oh my god. Yeah, no, my mom I'm half black and half Rican. So yeah, my mom was like, she didn't want to hear none of that. That was that Puerto Rican slipper or Spanish people slipper, and the switch is the black half.
Switch.
So you take a little, the thinnest, longest branch you can find.
Oh. Yeah, Eddie Murphy. Oh, not Eddie Murphy. Richard Pryor would talk about
yeah. And you just take the leaves off and
Oh, switch.
Switch.
I thought you said switch. Like
switch. No, switch.
You know,
switch.
go out, and then we'd make him go outside and get it off the tree.
Yeah,
that was the Richard Pryor stand-up thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Go outside, or was it Eddie Murphy, or was it? No,
I don't know. It was something with him. Listen, my mom hit me so hard sometimes I don't remember half the shit that I did anyway. So it's like
that's funny stuff, man.
Yeah.
No, but I have to say, my parents. It was a couple of times my father did put his hands on me, but it was because I taunted the shit out of him and I deserved it.
But going back though to the adoption stuff, that this is where we're at, that we're not even don't think about the adoption. Like you're my kid.
Right, that's it.
And
you're
this
mine.
is what we're gonna raise
Exactly.
you right. And this is just what it is. Like there's nobody gonna take you away. There's nobody's gonna, this is it.
And that's the way to do it. I mean, that's the right mindset. You know, because they were, especially if you get a kid who's older, and they already have baggage when they come to you. So now it's a whole nother trust thing. Now they got to learn to trust you, and they got to be comfortable and everything. And I can't imagine what that would be like. So that's got to be tough.
Yeah. Well, when I used to work in foster care, it's super hard. So I used to do that, and man, it's hard to get them to trust you.
And then if you betray them and do something. Now, okay, here we go again in their minds. So now that's just more stuff that they have to deal with, and then trust level just probably shot. You know what I mean? And that's tough. I'm sure that's really tough, and I can't imagine going through something like that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't change it. And I said, shout out to my kids, Samantha, Jason, Andrew, and Maggie. And I love every one of y'all. Like nobody's gonna tell me different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And nobody's gonna say, oh no, wait, why? Nope, my kids. This is what they need to know. Yeah. This is where it's at. This is what it is, and
that's how I feel about Tanya's kids. You know, Haley and Justin. I met them when they were young. They have a dad. They have a relationship with their dad. Mom, but we have our own relationship. I've never tried to be their dad, and that was the main thing. And for me, that was important because I didn't want to push myself on them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's what happened with my kids with their stepdad.
Yeah.
Their mom would say, well, you need to call him dad. Yeah. And that's your dad. And no, just because I only had him on the weekends and, whatever was going on. So that was really messed up for them. They hated that part of it, you know. And I was like, I'm never going to do that. If I meet a woman who happens to have their own children, it's not my kid.
Right.
He's got a dad. He's got a mom. You know what I mean? The relationship I would like to have is one that we could just have our own relationship, and it doesn't have to be a dad, son, or daughter relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
It'll be the relationship it needs to be. And it usually it works out really well. And I think with Justin and Haley was a little longer because she was tough, man. Oh, my God. She was rough. And girls usually are. But overall, I think they turned out good. So I think,
definitely. So, yeah.
That's
cool.
all right.
I mean, But, anything else you want to add?
Yeah. Is anything on your mind you want to just... we got
on the topic of adoption,
or just in general, because we got a little.
Well,
extra.
yeah.
We're gonna
if that's what we got for adoption, or you want to say anything else, because then
unless you do,
thank you for sharing.
You too, Kenny. I love you, man. I love you so bad. This guy can't. This is so deep. I can't stop.
I just want
That's
to
what she said.
say my favorite holiday has just ended.
Halloween.
My favorite, and my son.
Halloweeny.
We love Halloween. We are the Halloween house. So,
your son is
incredible
the way he is with that stuff, man. He is literally a little man.
That's funny.
He is.
And the way he is with that stuff is, I get a kick out of him, man. Yeah. Just he's perfect. He was meant for that, honestly.
Yeah, no,
he was.
No, and he's doing the YouTube.
The YouTube videos. I mean, like
Chase's Universe. Everybody, check it out. Chase's Universe. That's his
Chase's Universe. You gotta love him. He will crack you up because this kid is amazing. He is. He's funny.
But he loves doing it, and it's funny. I think because he watches so much of the video, he just knows what to do. He's like, "All right, guys, this is what we're doing. Like, everything's okay, guys. So this is," and he's like, "This is my Lucky Bottoms animatronic from Spirit Halloween, sold in the 2022 season."
That's funny.
And what's great about it is that he's just being himself. That's the great thing about children, right? Mm-hmm. Because when you're young, there's no fear. There's no, worrying about who's looking at you or not. He just does it. He's natural. He just goes with it, and that's what makes it so great. It's just fantastic. So, what do we got? How much time we got left?
No, we got like 3 more minutes.
3 more minutes. So, anything else you want to add, Kenny?
Well, I was just gonna look to see real quick with the emails.
Oh, okay. Oh, you want to just mention the email again for everybody?
Well, I mentioned the email. The email is ccandnjguy@gmail.com.
So it's
awesome.
CCAND NJGUI.
Yes, sir.
Right. And then please email us. Yeah. I think we did a lot better, I actually think, on this podcast, the second one.
If we start getting enough emails, we could do a mailbag at the end of the episode.
Right, that's what I was looking to see.
And, just like spend like 5-10 minutes just going
Absolutely.
through. I'd love to do that.
That would be fantastic.
I said I was trying to see who wrote in the last time. I know my friend Eddie, he sent us, and he made a couple of jokes. I'm not going to repeat them, punk ass. But he just said, he was telling us the feedback that he was giving, a little bit more stay focused on the topics,
right.
Have like we did better today.
We didn't talk over each other a lot either. I think we were really good at that.
Not like that. Yep.
Except for I agree.
That kind of stuff.
That's not really talking over.
But I think that's okay though.
That's normal.
Yeah, that's
like right now. This is the worst that we did as far as talking over each other. You know what I mean?
That's because we're not on top. We're just
right. So we said
just
stay focused.
Right now.
Exactly. So he said just stay focused, and he thought we sounded pretty good.
You had a couple dad jokes. Did you want to say them? Did you want to do a couple before we go?
Don't forget to have the soundboard ready.
You got to do the sounds too.
So my wifey, Miss Jessica, she says that I should do this. When we read this, and it says, "What's the longest word in the English language?"
What?
Smiles, because there's a mile between the first and last letters. Nobody really?
No.
Go to the soundboard. Y'all suck doggy nuts, man. Whatever.
Probably should have put the crickets on that bitch.
That was a happy one, man. That was a good one. All right. She said, all right, try this one. She says, "I told my doctor that I always get heartburn when I eat birthday cake. He said that I should take the candles off first."
There you go. That's a little bit better.
Wow. Yeah, right. That's what it was, man. That's exactly what it was. That's funny as hell. Yeah. But so that was it. So wanted to make everybody laugh, wanted to have a good old time. Today's topic was a little bit more serious, something from the heart.
Right.
So I appreciate you sharing too, bro.
Yeah, and I appreciate you too. And I think it was a good topic.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do. Your suggestions are going to be really helpful for us. We're not going to take anything to heart in the sense of being, it's not going to bother. We want to know.
Yeah.
So we can work on it and make this better as we go. So every time we do one, we're going to make those little changes and we're going to adjust and hopefully you guys will stick around.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Pick something for next week and you could do that one.
Okay.
You could do, and we'll do one of yours.
And then
I'm the funny guy, so, I want to do funny stuff. I'll make fun of people and shit like that.
And when Tom does it, you do yours afterwards.
Yeah,
we'll just go,
I do the next one.
We'll do a round robin.
Just pick stuff. Like I said, and even like you said, Tom, that even if we just turn around and look for stuff on, people sending us the emails and such. And
it'd be nice to do a little mailbag episode and just go through the emails.
Absolutely.
Cool. I mean, if we get emails consistently, we could do it once a month or something.
Yeah, well, it depends on too how often we end up doing the show, because if we get it to where we're going to be doing it once a week or so,
right?
Then
people, we are going to be eventually. I've already been working on it. We're going to do interviews. So we figured we'd do one interview a month, because that would be like at the end of the month, we do the interview. Yeah. We got some good stuff set up, but I'm not going to say what it is right now. Yeah. But I think you guys will like it. So when we do that, it's going to be really interesting and fun. And
eventually phone calls. We want to do phone calls and stuff like that. And
that too.
Future, we want to do live. That would be, I think I'd be great doing live, man. That'd be hilarious.
We're getting there. I think, eventually we'll get to where it's just exciting, because every time we did the first test one, then we did that one. Yep. Now we did this one, and this one I think we did really well on. Yeah. Especially because we're so. Let's.
Because Jimmy Kimmel, we're coming. Guest host on the show.
There you go.
Yes. We're gonna have more followers than the Joe Rogan.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Joe who?
I'm not sure Joe agree with that. I'm not sure Joe agree with that.
Joe
but anyway,
Mama.
It was great hanging out with you guys and doing this tonight, and I'm looking forward to the next time.
Yes. So thank you all for listening again. Thank you everybody who has already listened.
Yeah, always appreciate
spread the word.
Yes, and we'll get this one out tonight, and it will be ready for you guys to listen to.
Yes. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Love, peace, and hair grease.
Thank you.